Hello, my name is Rekha Maulida Anjani. I'm from International Management, Jenderal Sudirman University. So today I want to present about negative message in business communication. So let's start to the next slide. Negative message. Negative message include things such as refusals, rejects, recalls, announcement of policies that will not benefit the audience, requests the audience will see as insulting or intrusive. Negative performance appraisals, disciplinary notices, and apologies. Primary and secondary goals in communicating bad news. Primary goals is first is make the receiver understand the bad news. Second is help the receiver accept the bad news. And the last is maintain a positive of you and your organization. Secondary goals is reduce bad feeling, convey fairness, eliminate future correspondence, and the last is avoid creating legal liability or responsibility for you and your organization. Using an indirect pattern. The indirect pattern softens the impact of bad news by giving reason and explanation first. There are four parts of this. One is buffer, introduce the message with a neutral statement that makes the reader continue reading. Two is reason, explain why the bad news was necessary and that the matter was taken seriously. Three is bad news, provide a clear but understated announcement of the bad news that might include an alternative or a compromise. And the last is closing, and with a warm, forward-looking statement that might mention good wishes, gift, or sales promotion. Using direct pattern, when the presenting bad news, sometimes being direct can be more effective to limit it to certain situations such as the following. One is when the receiver may overlook the bad news. Two, when organization policy suggests directness. Three, when the receiver prefers directness. Four, when firmness is necessary. And the last is when the bad news is not damaging. Applying the writing process. First is analyze, anticipation, and adaptation. Two is research, organization, and composition. And the last is revision, proofreading, and evaluation. Avoiding three causes of legal problems. There are three causes of legal problems. First is abusive language, calling people names such as a deadbeat, crook, or quack that harms an individual reputation. When the abusive language is written, it is called libel, and when it's spoken, it is slander. Two is careless language. That is statements that are potentially damaging or that could be misinterpreted. And the last is the good guy syndrome. Statement that ease your conscience or make you look good. Technique for delivering bad news sensitively. There are 6 techniques in this part. First is buffering. A buffer is a device to reduce shock or pain. To buffer the pain of bad news, begin with a natural but meaningful statement that makes the reader continue reading. Here are some possibilities for opening bad news. One is bad news. Start with the part of the message that represents the best news. Two is compliment. Praise the receiver accomplishment, organization, or award, but do so with honesty and sincerity. Three, appreciation. Convey thanks to the reader for doing business, for sending something, for conveying confidence in your organization, for expressing feelings, or simply to providing feedback. Uh, Four is facts. Provide objective information that introduce the bad news. And the last is understanding. Show that you care about the reader. Okay, and next is apologizing. An apologize is an admission of blameworthiness and regret for an undesirable event. Consider this poor and improve apologize. First is poor apologize. We regret that you are unhappy with the price of ice cream purchased at one of our scope shops. Improve apologize. We are genuinely sorry that you were disappointed in the price of ice cream. recently purchased at one of our scoop shops. Poor apologize. We apologize if anyone was affected. Improve apologize. I apologize for the frustration our delay caused you. Convey empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and tap into other people's feelings. Here's an example of how to express empathy in written message. First is in writing to dissatisfied customer. Second is in line of employee. Third is in response to complaints. And the last is in showing sincere feelings. Presenting the reason. The most important part of a bad newspaper is the part that explains why negative decisions are necessary. Before disclosing bad news, try to explain why. First is explain clearly. Second is citing reader or other benefits if plausible. Third is explain company policy. Fourth is choosing positive words. And the last is showing that the matter was treated seriously and fairly. Cushioning the bad news. Although you can prevent the disappointment the bad news brings, you can reduce the pain somewhat by breaking the news sensitively. Be especially considerate when the reader will suffer personally from the bad news. One is positioning the bad news strategically. Two, using the passive voice. Three, accentuating the positive. Four is implying the refusal. And the last is suggesting a compromise or an alternative. Closing pleasantly. After explaining the bad sensitively, close the message with a pleasant statement that promotes goodwill. The closing should be personalized and may include: one is forward loop, two alternative follow up, three good wishes, four freebies, and the last is resell or sales promotion. Ethics and the indirect strategy. Sending bad news is an indirect strategy may be considered unethical and manipulative because the author deliberately doesn't convey it directly but consider alternative. Preaching bad news in public can cause pain and heartache. By delivering an indirect strategy, we can reduce the feeling of being hurt for the recipient of the message. Okay, so this is the last or the end of the presentation. I hope this will be useful for you all who are watching this. Thank you and see you.